What's going on, guys? TMNT Journeys Issue 6. This has been a series that I would say, after the mainline series, I would definitely recommend this one next. And so far, it's been about a 8 to 9 out of 10 series for me. Really nothing too weak, just a few tisms here and there. So, to catch us up to where we're at right now, we see Splinter in the crosshairs here, and we'll see more context on this as well. But so far, the Utrams have come to Earth. They have declared peace. They want nothing more than to be like a centralized hub, and to prove that they're, giving the people of Earth at least a year to hear them out. Otherwise, they'll peacefully leave. Now, they've taken up residence in like they've created a base from the moon and have planted themselves in the ocean. Now they're allowing visitors there, and they are strictly no weapons there. Now they have scanners, and to also enforce the rules, they have hired out the Foot Clan, since they can specialize in non-weapon combat. So now when April goes through this scanner, an alarm goes off, and like all of the security is kind of bearing down on her. That was in the last issue, and we're going to see what's going on with that in this issue. So let's just get right on into it. So story and our art is from Peter Laird and Jim Lawson. And keep in mind that this is all in black and white, and also Peter Laird, not a big fan of the different colored masks that the turtles have, so he went with this route, having symbols on kind of like on the chest of each one of the turtles. So not terribly relevant for this one. It had more relevancy in the last issue, but just something to keep in mind. So the story opens up, and Shadow's boyfriend Jay, he looks like he's just kind of going through the woods, just maybe getting ready to do some hunting. It's a little harder to see, but he's got a hunting rifle here with him, a little bolt action. And he's going, he finds a spot, gets all set up, and he is actually aiming this rifle out at the farmhouse where Shadow stays. Now that's a little weird. Very, very, very suspicious. And he's just kind of scoping things out, looking around the residency. And he's sweating a little bit, and the door opens, and now he's like kind of horrified by what he sees, and we see a Splinter, and this is our cover shot here, in the crosshairs, and he's very puzzled as to what he sees. He's trying to make sense of this. He's like, well, perhaps my scope's defective. Maybe it's a trained dog or somebody in a costume, and I do kind of take issue with this a little bit. It's kind of nitpicky, but it is kind of weird. By this point, the Utrams have been there for months. Other alien species have shown up, so why doesn't he automatically just kind of think of Splinter as some sort of alien species and just go, well, why is Shadow living with an alien? That's a little strange. Kind of nitpicky because it doesn't really play much of a factor right now. I guess time will tell if that's more of an issue, but for now it's just kind of a nitpick. But he gets interrupted by Metalhead, who then takes his rifle and breaks it, as we get the little crack sound effect there. And that is where we'll leave for now. So now we're catching up with the Turtles and the Joneses and all that. And yeah, we got the Foot Clan over here. They're like, everybody needs to get away from Miss O'Neill. She is our prisoner. Being very, very aggressive. And Casey, he's not taking kindly to that. He's like, the hell you're going to take her. Hands April his bag. He's like, all right, things are getting ready to get rough, and we're gonna have to go to fisticuffs. So in exchanges there, the Utrams, they're trying to simmer things down, like, hey, let's just be reasonable, guys. No need for violence. Let's chill out. But, of course, the Foot and Casey, they're not getting along, and sure enough, a fight breaks out. And the Turtles are trying to also talk with the Foot. There's no love between them. And so it doesn't take long before Raph also jumps in, and therefore the rest of the turtles. So now it's just an all-out brawl. Everybody's getting in on this. We see Shadow, she jumps in, and even April, she throws like a baseball cap at one of the Foot Clan guys and takes a punch while he's blinded. So like everybody's in on this. All hell's breaking loose. Foot Clan, they're flying everywhere. Turtles, they're beating up, and then the Utrams basically throw like a flash grenade, and they're trying to simmer things down. Like, okay, can we now be reasonable? Can we just chill the fuck out, guys? And Michelangelo, he's like, nope, we can still fight in the dark later, and just starts the fight starts all over again. And at this point, the Utrams are like, oh, for fuck's sake. He's like, throw a shutter bomb. So then we get to see what a shutter bomb does. And it throws everybody all out of whack. And so now everybody's on their ass, and the Utram's like, okay, can we chill out now? I'm so sorry that we had to be so aggressive with this, but you guys just seriously need to calm the fuck down. So, and then proceeds to say, hey, look, perhaps our security was a little overzealous, but we do need to kind of, take a hold of Miss O'Neill, because what we have discovered is she's got nanobots on her person somewhere, and we gotta figure out what's going on here. And they're like, nanobots? How could that be? And the Utrams say, well, that's exactly what we would like to try and figure out. So Miss O'Neill, could you please get in the box? April is just like, I don't think I'm gonna get in a box. No thanks. But Donnie does kind of come to the aid of the Utrams and is like, hey, look, I think you should go ahead and allow them to examine you. I'll be right there with you in case any, just to ensure no shenanigans, and you have nothing to worry about. And that calms her into going ahead, getting in the box, saying goodbye to everybody, and then her and Donnie walk away. Let's catch up with Jay real quick. So Jay's just running for his life. He is freaked out by Metalhead, who's just using his hair to, swing around and not say anything. And I gotta say, I get a little bit of a chuckle out of this, like, just vacant expression. He kind of reminded me of, like, the old 80s, 90s little troll dolls with the crazy hair. And just that blank expression, obviously without the smile of the troll, but still just, like, staring and having the crazy hair going. And it was just like, man, imagine being just chased down by a troll doll. And I got a little bit of a chuckle out of it. I don't know if that was the intent or not, but it amused me quite a bit. So, but yeah, no words are being exchanged from Metalhead on one hand, and Jay's just doing what he can to try and thwart off Metalhead, and nothing's working. So then we catch back up with our heroes. They're in the Utram waiting room, just trying to find out some news. And just kind of talking about this, that, and the other. And they notice the Foot Clan member over there. His name is Cha Ocho and Gesundheit. But yeah, he's a familiar face, and they recognize him off of past encounters. But just then, Honeycutt and the Utram come in, let everybody know April's fine. She's resting peacefully. Nothing out of the ordinary here. And that she has been host to thousands of nanobots. And just to kind of make a lot of this dialogue very short, they kind of relate it back to Baxter Stockman. Everybody's like, man, that's a name I haven't heard in a while. And how could this have happened? Like, when would Stockman have been able to do that? And so they recall one of the encounters where Stockman transplanted his brain or his consciousness over to a robot body and stabbed April in the shoulder. And they figured that is likely when that had happened. Now, I will say that we make those jumps rather quick, and I get it. We don't need to spend a whole lot of time. We can kind of fast forward. Just a little nitpicky. Just, again, they go, Stockman, hey, remember that fight that we had with him? That must have been it. So it just seems like it's a little too quick, but it's one of those things where how do you balance them trying to figure it out in a limited page comic, right? So that's why I'm going with it's kind of nitpicky. And I can kind of pretend that they had to give it a little bit more thought than what we're shown here. Just because we have so many pages to work with for consistency's sake, and we can't spend them going, So it comes off a little rushed, but I will forgive it for. I can understand that they're trying to keep the consistency of the page count here. But yeah, they've gathered that it's likely there. Now, one thing I didn't mention before we started. Now, Casey and April, they're married, and they've been trying to have kids, and it's been very difficult. Now, after hearing all of this news, Casey is asking, could these nanobots be a reason behind us having difficulties conceiving a child? And that is fucking dark. You think about this. If this is the case, like, holy hell, that is some dark stuff. Like, perhaps they're conceiving the child and these nanobots are immediately attacking and killing. That is horrifyingly dark stuff. So naturally, the turtles are like, hey, we don't need to jump to conclusions, that kind of stuff. Just keep your mind off of it. That's just focus on figuring out what's going on with April and how we can help her. How about we just focus there? And Cha Ocho, Gesundheit, he's looking quite amused over here for reasons not yet known. Cutting back over to Jay, we see Metalhead's got him pinned, and he gets called off. Now, I forget this guy's name. I do, and I apologize for that. But he talks to Jay. He calls off Metalhead, and he lets him know, I'm Shadow's uncle, and he refers to Jay by his name. So he's like, I know who you are because you are dating my niece. And he was like, what the hell are you doing on my property? And Jay's like, I was just hiking. He's like, okay. Hey, come with me real quick. You want to give me that bullshit? And opens up this like a little hatch, little compartment storage area on his four-wheeler. And it's like, you want to tell me what you're doing with this rifle? And that is where our story ends. So, right off the bat, I'm going to say, I don't think Jay was actually trying to shoot anyone. My thought on this is he's just using the scope to kind of look at things. I'm willing to bet that rifle is unloaded and that nothing really nefarious is going on here. Because you may ask, well, why would he just not take the scope off the rifle? Well, then he'd have to re-zero it in. Anybody who works with firearms and has optics knows that if you take off your optic and you put it back on, chances are you're going to have to re-zero it in. And it can be kind of a chore, especially if this is zeroed in for like longer ranges and stuff like that. Just assuming with a bolt action, he's more using that for like hunting and things like that. I'm willing to give it that much forgiveness there, that he would want to just not have to re-zero in his firearm. I completely understand that shit can get kind of annoying, not to mention kind of costly at times when you're, testing your shots and stuff like that. And I don't know what caliber it is, and I'm kind of getting too far into this, so we're just going to move on. So I can forgive that. The whole sweating, I don't think that was from nerves or anything. It's summer, so he's probably just hot, and we're just giving a little detail there. So the one thing I would judge Jay on is like, why would you just not go grab some binoculars? Is it really that important that you just grab something and go just to try and figure out what your girlfriend's up to? I get that she's been kind of secretive, and you're just like, why? And that I suspect that that's why he was there in the first place. Is he's just like, why does Shadow never want me to go around the farmhouse? Like, what's going on over there? What is she not telling me? And maybe just looking out for the safety of Shadow. Just he's trying to be a good boyfriend, albeit not a very smart one. Because the fact that he's using a rifle, if we go back there, He's right here. The farmhouse is there. Like, he could be spotted by the naked eye. Like, you really don't have to use optics in order to see somebody over here. Maybe you can't see that he's holding a rifle, but somebody just looking out here and seeing that, like, man, that's kind of weird. Maybe go grab some binoculars yourself, or I don't know, maybe he's got a telescope, and go check out and see somebody's like pointing a gun at your house. That would freak out anybody. So maybe just calm people down if they were to spot you by not having a rifle pointing at somebody's house. If your intentions are well-meaning, which I'm suspecting Jay's are. So nothing really major stands out as far as like flaws or something like that. Just mostly just little nitpicks. So I'm not really gonna be too harsh on it. It's overall a very good book. I'd give it like a 9 out of 10. It's pretty entertaining. I thought it was kind of funny. Like the Utrams are trying to settle everybody down, as they're trying to protect April, but they're certainly not going to let the Foot Clan just dictate how things go. And the Foot, of course, they were being very aggressive, and so the Utrams having to go to like flashbang, and then that shutter bomb. It was very amusing. I very much enjoyed that. So yeah, like I said at the beginning of this video, the Journeys series, definitely a recommend. Now you might get a little bit more lost if you don't have any kind of knowledge on the original run, but I think you can still kind of piece together some things, and whenever they give a reference for certain comics, maybe just kind of look at that and get your knowledge up a little bit as to what's going on, and that should work just fine for you if you don't want to go all the way back to the beginning, which is what I would recommend. Go through the beginning and then continue on with this. But this is a very strong series, and I always appreciate like the older style stuff, like from Peter Laird, and have his like art in there, as well as I also very much like Kevin Eastman's art as well. So I really, really enjoy having just like kind of this little blast from the past that's being re-released out here. And so definite recommend. It's between this and our mainline series that we have with Gene Yang as our writer, previously with Jason Aaron. These are easily my two most recommended series. So if you want to start with something, either check out Journeys or the mainline. Now, you have to understand with both of those, it is continuing on something, so there are going to be things that maybe don't make full sense, but I think you can piece it together if need be. But that is all I have for today, guys. So until next time, take care and God bless.